Why It Sucks to Be Born as an American, Part 1, Poverty Life. Picture this: the wealthiest nation in human history, where technology companies are valued in the trillions, where penthouses sell for hundreds of millions, where fortunes are made in milliseconds through algorithmic trading. And yet, beneath this gleaming surface, nearly 40 million people live in poverty. Not in some distant developing nation, but here, in the land that branded itself as the place where anyone can make it. The numbers themselves are a kind of violence. When we say the poverty line, we're talking about a family of 4 surviving on less than $30,000 a year. Try to imagine that for a moment. Rent, in most American cities, consumes half that amount. Before you've bought a single meal, before you've turned on a single light, before you've filled a prescription or fixed a broken-down car that you need to get to work. But poverty in America isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about the architecture of impossibility that gets built around those who have least. It's the late fees on the bank account that's already empty. It's the interest rates that climb higher the less you have. It's the landlord who demands first month, last month, security deposit, and application fee, $5,000, just to get your foot in the door of a place you'll never own. It's the payday loan place on every corner in poor neighborhoods, offering rescue with one hand and ruin with the other. Consider the working poor, a phrase that should make us pause. Working poor. In what kind of society do those words live comfortably next to each other? Millions of Americans work 40, 50, 60 hours a week and still cannot afford the basic dignity of housing, health care, and food. They're called essential workers during crises, praised for their service, and then paid wages that ensure they'll never be anything but one emergency away from catastrophe. The gig economy promised freedom, but delivered fragmentation. No benefits, no security, no guarantees, just an app that can deactivate you without explanation, leaving you without income overnight. This is poverty with a smartphone, poverty with Wi-Fi, poverty scrolling through everyone else's curated lives while sitting in a car you're living in because the rent got too high. And here's the cruel genius of American poverty. It's designed to be invisible. The homeless encampments get pushed to the edges, swept away, before important visitors arrive. The food banks operate quietly, often in church basements, where desperation can be mistaken for charity. The evictions happen one apartment at a time, each family's displacement a private tragedy rather than a public crisis. The systems that sustain scarcity. Let's talk about how poverty perpetuates itself through the very systems meant to help people escape it. Take education. We tell children that school is the great equalizer, the ladder to opportunity. But schools in poor neighborhoods have crumbling infrastructure, outdated textbooks, overcrowded classrooms, and teachers who often have to buy supplies with their own money. Meanwhile, schools in wealthy zip codes have state-of-the-art facilities, individualized attention, and every resource imaginable. We call this equal opportunity, but it's anything but. Then there's the pipeline from school to prison that runs through poor communities like infrastructure. Zero-tolerance policies that criminalize childhood. School police who arrest kids for things that would get a phone call home in affluent districts. And once you've got a record, even a juvenile one, good luck getting financial aid, getting into college, getting a job that pays enough to live on. Healthcare in America is a particularly cruel mechanism of poverty. Get sick when you're poor and you face an impossible choice. Seek treatment and risk medical bankruptcy, or avoid care and risk death. Emergency rooms become primary care clinics because they can't turn you away, but they can bill you into oblivion. Chronic conditions go untreated until they become emergencies. People ration insulin, skip medications, ignore symptoms until it's too late. The working poor often earn just enough to disqualify them from assistance, but not enough to actually survive. This cliff effect creates a trap. Accept a raise and lose your healthcare subsidy, your housing voucher, your SNAP benefits, and end up worse off than before. The system punishes ambition, discourages advancement, and keeps people locked in precarity. Housing has become the crisis within the crisis. Rent has increased 4 times faster than wages in the last 2 decades. An entire generation has been priced out of home ownership, that traditional pathway to building wealth. Instead, they pour half their income into rent, enriching landlords while building no equity, no stability, no future security. And when eviction comes, as it does for millions each year, it brings a scarlet letter that makes finding the next place even harder. Transportation poverty binds everything together. Can't afford a car? Good luck getting to work in cities designed around automobiles. Public transit, where it exists, often doesn't run when low-wage shifts start and end. The poor pay more time, hours commuting on buses with multiple transfers, which means less time for family, for rest, for figuring a way forward. Food deserts stretch across poor neighborhoods where the only nearby options are convenience stores charging premium prices for processed food. Fresh produce is miles away, accessible only if you have time and transportation. So people eat what's available and affordable, and then get blamed for the health consequences of poverty's limited choices. The human cost and false solutions. Behind every statistic is a story. The single mother working 3 part-time jobs because none offer full-time hours or benefits. The veteran sleeping in their car despite having served their country. The college graduate crushed under student loan debt, unable to afford both rent and loan payments. The elderly choosing between medications and meals. The child going to school hungry, unable to concentrate, falling behind, and being labeled as the problem. Poverty ages you. The stress of never having enough, of constant crisis management, of impossible choices, it shows up in your body. Poor Americans die younger, suffer more chronic illness, experience more disabilities. This isn't lifestyle choice. It's structural violence, written in flesh and bone. And the psychological toll? Living in poverty means living in fight-or-flight mode continuously. Your nervous system never rests because threat is constant. Housing insecurity, food insecurity, the fear of that unexpected expense that will topple everything. This is trauma, ongoing and unresolved. And then society judges the decisions made under that kind of pressure, as if anyone makes their best choices while drowning. Children growing up in poverty learn early that the world isn't fair, that hard work doesn't guarantee reward, that systems aren't built for people like them. They internalize scarcity. They carry it forward. Generational poverty isn't just about money not passed down. It's about opportunity denied, stress inherited, hope depleted. Now we're told the solutions. Work harder, be more responsible, make better choices. Bootstrap rhetoric that ignores the simple math. When there aren't enough jobs that pay living wages, when housing costs more than people earn, when healthcare bankrupts families, when childcare costs more than mortgage payments, individual effort can't overcome structural failure. The charity model soothes consciences, but doesn't solve problems. Food banks shouldn't need to exist in the wealthiest nation on earth, yet we celebrate them. Crowdfunding for medical care has become normalized, turning survival into a popularity contest. We've outsourced our collective responsibility to voluntary giving and wonder why poverty persists. Some suggest universal basic income, others advocate for higher minimum wages, still others push for affordable housing programs or universal health care. These aren't radical ideas. Most developed nations have implemented some version of them. But in America, helping the poor is perpetually framed as controversial, as if ensuring people can eat and have shelter is somehow extreme. The reality is that poverty is expensive for everyone. It costs more to manage poverty's consequences, emergency room visits, crime, instability, lost productivity, than it would cost to prevent it. But prevention requires upfront investment, collective action, and admitting that the system isn't working as designed. Or perhaps more uncomfortably, admitting it's working exactly as designed, concentrating wealth upward while keeping a population desperate enough to accept any wage, any condition, any indignity. What persistence reveals. The persistence of poverty in American abundance isn't an accident or an anomaly. It's a feature, not a bug. It serves functions. It disciplines workers. It justifies inequality. It allows the comfortable to feel they've earned their comfort. Until we reckon with poverty as a policy choice rather than an individual failing, until we treat housing and healthcare and food and education as rights rather than privileges, Until we build systems that support human flourishing instead of extracting maximum profit, poverty will persist, generation after generation, a wound we refuse to heal because we profit from the suffering. The question isn't whether America can afford to end poverty. The question is why we've chosen not to. If this video opened your eyes, challenged your assumptions, or moved you to think differently, subscribe to stay informed. Like to amplify the message, and turn on notifications.